Welcome back to Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. This is not your host Dylan, and it's not Double D Vintage Baseball Cards either. But here coming up next, we're going to share some gifts from this really generous and stalwart member of the YouTube Vintage Baseball Card community. Next. So welcome back. It is Topher here on a beautiful mid-60s afternoon, Sunday, night after the NCAA tournament, and my team got bounced out in rather rude fashion last night. I have to admit I'm feeling a little bit down from that, but that's not the reason why we're on the air today. You can probably hear the wind blowing. It's just a beautiful day here in front of one of the loveliest lakes probably in the world, one of my most favorite spots to be. And there's no better place to share an amazing gift from an amazing member of this community, none other than Dylan, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. He sent me 3 items. It's just so nice of him to do this. So I'm going to share them with you now. Then we're going to have a little O time. A little bit of O time, segueing out. So I'm looking at some people out on the boat today. They're actually out on the boat. Good day for it. This is all improv. It's just going to be a tailspin mess. And then we're going to look at some 1966 tops, and I have a question at the end for you. So leave in the comments below if you wish. So let's get started. So Dylan was generous to send me this here, including with his label. And I think his labels are just so cool. And that's one thing I'll mention about him. He just simply is just this, entrepreneur, inventor, makes stuff with his hands, living the best and fullest life he can. He's inspirational just from that aspect to me. I mean, to me, that's the more inspirational impact he has on me than all the knowledge he's passed on to me as a card collector, which he is, just generously shares with everyone in the community. But check out this 1960 Topps Cincy Clouders. He knows I'm a big fan of 1960 Topps and of the Reds. And it's neat that he sent me this card. I did not have any of these sort of, like inverse diamond trapezoidal type shaped image cards from that set. Just the base cards or all-star cards. So that's Cincy Clouders. Next, staying on the Reds theme, and I remember when he showed this card, I bumped the camera there. I remember when he first showed this card on his channel, gosh, 2 or 3 years ago. Is just when I was starting to watch his channel, and I thought, man, that is such a cool card. And it is none other than the 2023 Topps Gilded Collection, one of his favorites and one of my favorites in modern, refractor type cool cards. Barry Larkin Wave Gold Etch out of 75. So this is card number 25 out of 75. And he shared this card on the channel. I thought, man alive, I really want to get one just like this. And it's just a stunning image. I'm not sure who the player is sliding in here, but one of his, I think it's early 2000s, maybe Topps or Leaf cards or one of those eras. Fleer Ultra maybe had this exact image of him, and you could see who, by the back number, who the player was. But you can't do that here. Of course, all the stats on the back. So how cool is this? So here's card number 25 out of 75. And they will always be forever paired with the very same year card, but this is the Raywave Gold Etch Refractor, number 25 out of 25. So I have both cards, 25, number 25 here. And I went and found this one. You can just see that gold shimmer, that way that rainbow shimmer is in there, all those different neat colors. I went and found this the same day after I watched that video. Talk about being, influenced. He says never be influenced, just be inspired. And that day I was influenced. I was like, I want that card. I want it, rarity, even if it's manufactured rarity. It's like, I want that. But he had no idea. I mean, maybe I'd shown this on the channel. I think he had seen it, and he was really concerned that, he was sending me the exact same card, but he did not. But look at those two together. This doesn't really do him justice. Together at last. Those will always be paired together in my collection, but it even gets better. He also gifted me this beautiful 1973 Calvi Sadahara O. Now we're going to talk about O a little bit. I've never shared an O card on my channel yet. And there's some collectors out there that have a lot of, that's got to be like, yeah, that's just on the top of the surface of the card. Again, it's windy out here today. Stuff's blowing all over the place. Bailey, the official mascot, is sitting here to my left, making sure everything's okay. But look at that card. Look at that, the concentration, the bat pose. I mean, you can even see the stubble of his mustache. Just what a legend looks like. Put in all the time and work. And of course, again, with his amazing labels, he's just this really creative guy, Dylan. I gotta say, he could be on there just flexing with, hey, look at me, at my amazing collection in my amazing room. But he just offers it in and shares it with us, sometimes several times a week. And I'm just always just turned on by all the, just ramped up by his enthusiasm and his positivity, but just seeing all that blue in that room and just all the handiwork that's gone into that, all the work he's done. He's just this crazy inventor. He's just such a great dude. Gifting me this that will now rest. I did have a 73 Calvi already of Sadahara O. Famous bat pose. Stepping into the swing. Look at those black cleats. I always loved the black cleats from back then. The simple and the stirrups. There he is with the Giants. Just fans in the background. The field looks worse for wear, but I'm gonna play anyway. I can't tell if that's what's going on there, if that's a catcher, if that's part of the game going on, or what, but there he's just posing, stepping in that famous right leg coming up to step into a swing. Arguably maybe the greatest hitter of all time, certainly the greatest hitter outside the United States, certainly for power. But there you are with those. But this is the 66th video of this, my 66th video of this journey on YouTube. And I think it would be remiss if I did not share some 66 tops. I think Dylan was excited, looking forward to this. I'd already shown him one of the cards I'm going to share here, which was a recent acquisition that was really tough to find in the kind of condition I would like. Not that that's the end of everything, but that's the one thing that he has taught me, is really pay attention to the eye appeal of these cards. And if you notice here, he has on the Cincy Clouders, on his labels, He even grades the centering on that. So let's go with some 66 Topps. And of course we cannot get started off without one of my favorite players from this era, Tony Perez. And that green grass and the Ricky hat there. I love the billboards in the background. I don't know if that's a Royal Tire ad or what that is. Clearly it's a spring training somewhere. A lot of people like this card better than his Ricky. A lot of people don't really like 66 Topps, especially after 65 Topps. It was some thought more of a downer with the design. I find the austerity really, the simplicity of it really beautiful. I love the orange backs on these, and there's still a cartoon there. There's Tony Perez. Yeah, the light might not be allowing these cards to come in the best. So sorry. Show them up close first. You can't go anywhere without this card. This is just a beautiful card. I love this pose of Bob Gibson. It might be my favorite. Looks like he's posing on the follow through of a pitch. Don't know why it keeps getting darker. The yellow with the red letters, the yellow background is really tight on these cards. Reminds me of the old school Shell logos for Shell Oil Company, Royal Dutch Shell as it was known. There's the back. This is just a smattering of my 66 Topps. I wanted to show with different label colors. The next two will be the same color. Carly Yastrzemski. Okay, so this was a little bit earlier in my collecting journey. And you can see where, I'm not going to replace this card, but the eye appeal is not quite exactly as sharp as maybe I thought my eye was looking at the time. It's funny how this will train your eye. But this card is neat because it's at Yankee Stadium and the Yaz is smiling. He's got a great smile on it, but you just rarely show it in his cards. I don't know if I wanted to show this one, but I'm going to anyway. I'm sure Dylan has all of these, but it's just a great set. And here is one. Here is Jim Palmer, his rookie card. Maybe the overall centering, as far as we would mention, is pretty decent. But there is a big time flaw in this card, which will keep me from getting it graded or even slabbing it myself, like in one of these Z-Mags like Dylan does, like I do on some of mine. But I'm thinking about maybe going and just collecting the entire 66 set. It's probably not as pricey. The mantle in that collection is not the most expensive mantle out there. It's certainly not probably like the 69, his last year card. Probably at 66, 67, 68 are in that price range. That's more affordable to complete a set. And it's a nice card, and I love the 66 mantle. But yes, this might have been a bike spoke victim. So I either will leave it in this or put it in a binder, get some decent holders don't melt. If anyone has any suggestions on how to do that, to collect binder sets, please leave a comment below. What I should maybe do to pursue that. I have several 66 Topps cards that aren't stars, everyday players, but I don't like calling them commons. And here's the final one I'll share. This video started getting a little long. it's the Bob Clemente. This year I have been much more careful. You're looking at 2/3 of my eBay purchases this year so far. It's been about one a month. I've really backed off. It isn't so much for saving for a big show or anything of that nature, but it is more a challenge that Drew the Vintage Legacy kind of put out there. He kind of shared about how he really stopped going on to eBay. And I'm not suggesting anyone else follow this lead, but I am suggesting that I am. I'm really trying to be careful with it, be more intentional about getting cards at shows and attending shows. For me, it's just a little too easy, but eBay at a time like this, to get a card that looks like this, that trained eye that Dylan and I would say for the most part has helped me develop. It was just very hard to pass up. And so for those kind of emergencies, yes, but I'm really trying to stay off of it, and the rest of the year really trying not to have it. I even wrote an episode about the challenge of doing that, which I haven't filmed yet. I don't know if I will. I'm at a kind of a crossroads of whether or not to continue to do scripted episodes or not. There's a couple of channels out there that just do it way better than I could possibly ever, and the level of production and what they do with it, and I think you know who I'm talking about. It's just better for me to just kind of ramble on until you guys get bored of me. But I'm not necessarily doing it for you guys, I'm doing it for myself. And the question is why I ask is that I was starting to think about planning this series. Here's the back. These late 60s episodes, kind of, you know, every year, 67, 68, 69, looking at the top set from that, and then looking at some cultural icons of that era. And one I was thinking about doing was reviewing episodes of Star Trek. How many of you were really into Star Trek when you were younger? Did you watch it much? Would that be something to be of interest to you? I bounced it off on one other community member, and I don't really want to go through and really detail out and nerd out on the episodes, because I was a big Trekkie. If that's not really something of interest, so, you know, I'd say more than a slight majority of you, my followers out there, my subscribers. So let me know in the comments below. And I've taken up enough time. Thank you again, Dylan, for these amazing cards you gave me and for helping me look for this 66 Topps Bob Clemente, and in a very indirect way of just the knowledge you've passed on your channel all these years I've watched, to give me the patience to wait to find the one that fit my collection the way I wanted it to. And so with that, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. If your team's still in NCAA tournament, good luck to you. And be safe at home, everyone.